The Silvas from the Silvas meeting Wednesday night. This week has been a rough week. My mom is renewing her vows, and she doesn't want any friends or any family members invited. Which I'm her son, which I think I should be invited. I think it's too soon from a counseling standpoint. He's got a problem with porn, and they're getting the internet turned on in their house on October 1st. I think that's bad. I also think that they should not renew their vows this soon. I think he needs to go through a 12-step program, and he needs to go through serious counseling for it. He needs to go to a place where they actually institute him for about 90 days to a year and have him go through the program before he comes home. I thought it was totally wrong. If you ask Uncle Dave, he'll tell you the same thing. But it is her life, and she can do whatever she wants. That's what she kind of told me in a calm way, told me to stay out of it. And so I will. I'm going to talk to her, but, she don't want me in her life, then, that's what she kind of told me today. So I will stay out of it. I will talk to her and all, but I won't pry into her life, because she just finally told me about renewing the vows the next month or two with Pastor Dree privately. She don't want Deb or anybody invited because, she just wants to keep it private. And I'm like, well, shouldn't I be invited? Even though it's a family, I should be invited to that. She says, no, it's just between me and Stuart and the minister. I said, well, why? I said, shouldn't I be invited to you rededicating your vows? I think that's important. No, because that's just the way we want to do it. I said, well, that's kind of selfish. So it sounds like he's getting back to his old ways, because that doesn't sound like the way you should be when you renew your vows and you're serious about it. You should invite your family, and it doesn't have to be real big. Just invite your son and invite, Aunt Sharon and Uncle Dave and a couple other people. It doesn't have to be a whole lot of people, because we are family. But I'm not. And she goes, well, you're just judging. I said, I'm not judging you. I'm just saying from a counseling standpoint, it is too soon. You shouldn't be living there. He should be in a program and going over to Pastor G, even though they were in another preacher where they went into counseling and they did something, had a halfway house, well, that's fine and dandy. But, that's not the real program. That's something you do after you get out of the program. Then you go to something like that. You don't go to that before you go into the program. It's the other way around. And I said, it's too soon. I think it's going to end disastrous. And she's like, well, if it does, then I'm prepared for it. And anyway, another thing that happened yesterday with my friend, she asked me, she goes, I want to ask you a question. I go, what? She goes, well, I see you're going to the dentist on the 3rd. I said, yeah. I said, but she goes, well, I just want to know how you're going to pay for it. I said, well, I have insurance. It's going to pay up to half or maybe a little more than half of the cost. She said, well, how are you going to pay for the other stuff? I said, well, working, donations, family's probably going to help out a little bit, a little bit of everything, it's going to help out. I don't know, but it's going to get paid somehow. She says, well, and I never even asked her, and I wasn't going to ask her, and we weren't even talking about money or nothing. She was just asking me, how are you going to pay for it? I'm like, well, why are you so interested in how I'm going to pay for it? Because you're not going to do nothing about it anyway. You don't really care about it. She said, well, I just want to tell you that we're not going to help you pay for it. I said, well, I wasn't going to ask you. Did I ask you? Did you hear my voice ask you? She said, no, but I'm just telling you. I said, well, you don't need to tell me something if I didn't ask. Now, do you? I mean, does that sound like a Christian to tell somebody something? Well, you don't need to be saying nothing because I didn't imply or even ask, and I wasn't going to. It's like, and another thing she does, she likes to talk her stuff off and wants you to listen to her fully and have your full divine attention. But then when it comes to you talking, it's like she sometimes acts like she's not even there, like she don't even care about what you got to say. And then she says rude, condescending things that are disrespectful. You like what she said about that when I didn't even ask her for any money. I said, I haven't even asked you for no money. You offered money, but that's different. I've never asked you for a single thing. And where do you come off saying that rude, condescending thing to me when I didn't even say nothing to you about it? I wasn't going to, and I wasn't planning on it. I said, besides, you helped me with the electric, which I'm grateful. But you don't have to say nothing because it's not no place to say anything. Because I didn't say nothing to you, and I wasn't going to. So, I don't understand why you did that. And it upset me. So I'm like debating whether I'm going to keep her kids or not, because I usually take them on the 1st, and it was hurtful too. I'm like, we've been friends for over 6 years, and I'm like, she ought to know me better than that by now. And she's like asking me questions about certain things I'm buying for my mother. I thought she was writing a book. Like, is this for your mom? Is that for your mom at the store? Is this for your mom? I'm like, yeah, why are you asking all these questions? You know? I get some things from mom every now and then. She's like asking me questions. There's nothing illegal about that. If I buy it, it's not illegal. I can get stuff for whoever I want with my food stamps, as long as I buy it. And I'm like, you know, and that is the law. But the thing is, you know, it's like, she's like asking me all these questions like she's writing a book. And I'm like, I mean, it's getting about the third time it got on my nerves. I said, why are you, I'm like, oh my gosh, why are you asking all these questions for? What is going on? Are you writing a book or something? And then when I have the kids over, Jeremy, he likes to run the show just like he does at home. You tell me what to do, tell me what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. When I already know what's appropriate and what is appropriate, I don't need him telling me that. You know, if I tell them they can stay up till 11:30, they ought to be grateful. You know, because usually they don't stay up that late when they come over to my house. You know, on a weekend, not on a school night, they'd be going to bed at 9 o'clock if it was a school night. But on a weekend, they stay up till 11:30. They're old enough. But the thing is, you know, I don't need him telling me what mom said or anything. You know, I'm the adult here. You know, I'm not doing nothing wrong. If they want to stay, if I have them stay up till 11:30, I mean, that's my decision. And maybe she wants them to go to bed earlier, but if he wants to go to bed early, he can go to bed earlier. But I told them they can stay up till 11:30. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If they're over here, they're not under their roof, so I'm the one that called the shots. But I don't need him telling me what to do. You know? And then, you know, when I was over their house last Sunday, you know, the Sunday before they were over here, John had a serious farting problem. Well, last Sunday he didn't have that problem. And his dad said, well, he has a flagellant problem. I said, well, if he did, how come? I'm like thinking, how come it's not going on last Sunday? I didn't hear him fart at all. So, you know, flagellant problems don't just come and go. Usually when people have, you know, problems with gas, they do it all the time. It's uncontrollable. Well, he wasn't doing it at all last Sunday. But the Sunday before, man, he was like a choo-choo train, you know, when he came over here. So to me, I just think he was just being disruptive because he didn't do it at all last week in front of his parents when I was over their house. But anyway, you know, and then Jeremy's telling me what to do and, you know, run the show and spilling communion juice all over my leather couch, you know, over here. That couch there, it's got leather, you know, just not paying attention. And, you know, and the next time he's just going to sit in the kitchen if he comes over. I think I'm really debating whether to have him come over here in October. Yeah, I think I'm going to take a month off to have him come over here because they really, you know, don't listen. You know, they're really bad and disrespectful to God and disrespectful to my teaching. You know, if they were 5 and 7 years old, I can understand why they would be acting the way that, like doing all that stuff. But when they're like 10 to 15 years old, they should be more well behaved. My almost got ready to say, well, have you ever gone to church and seen kids their age act that way? Because they don't. Because they're better well behaved over there. Because if they don't behave, then they're asked to leave the class and go and sit with their parents in big church. You see? And so when they come over here, we were doing big church. And so they need to behave. And that's all I'm asking. And I don't need to condescend remarks saying I'm going to ask her for money when I wasn't going to ask her. And, you know, it's wrong and it's rude. I've known ask people for money. I was letting her know what my needs are. But when we were talking, she come out blue and asked me, well, how are you going to pay for your dentist? I'm like, well, I wonder why she's asking that question. And I even said it. Well, you don't really care about it. I mean, you're not going to support it, so why are you worried about how it gets paid? I'm going to pay it. Somehow it'll get paid. But why are you worried about it? And she makes a condescending remark that's rude and disrespectful. You know? But, you know, I still love her. I think it's because of the medicine she's on. That's why she says things like that. And she wonders why she loses friends. That's why. You know, she's got to learn to keep that stuff to herself and not always run her mouth when it's not needed. Now, if I would have asked her, could you and Charlie help me with the money, you know, with what they don't pay, and I'll pay you back, then she could say that. But I never even asked, and I wasn't going to. But she just went out and said it like a trooper, man. She didn't care. She just trampled and insulted me and said all kinds of mean things like that when I wasn't even saying nothing about it. So, anyway. That's how my week went. I love y'all. Please subscribe. Tell people who you know. And of course, if I go to Charlie about this, he'll probably just deny it and say, well, that's just a humor, or make up some kind of excuse like he did with his son's flagellant problem, which he didn't seem to have last Sunday. But anyway, I think he was just downright rude and disrespectful and disruptive, because he's been over here many other times before and he hasn't farted uncontrollably like that. So anyway, that's my take on it. So subscribe down below, and I love you, and I'll see you with some more update, and hopefully I'll sound better. It's this medicine I'm taking, this clove stuff, is making my voice sound really husky. So I will send another update tomorrow, and I'll see you then. I love you, and stay strong in faith. Bye for now.